there is one memory that's still with me, is because I was born here with my older brother, myself and my sister. We were born here, and then we moved to Samoa, but Dad stayed behind because he had to sell the house and sell the furniture because my mum's dad was sick, so that's why we had to leave in a rush. So a lot of the stuff had to be sold, and so Dad stayed behind, and he worked and sent us money as well. And the best, and I still remember it, is when he first came to Samoa after we got, I think it was 2 years after we left, and it was the first time my dad came to Samoa to visit us. And he brought me a doll. It was a baby come back doll, and it was Christmas. And when he gave me the doll, it was just the best thing ever. And it was one of those dolls, I don't know if the older generation, well, my generation will remember, is you just put it on the floor and it crawls, and you just clap your hands and say, baby come back, and it turns around and it crawls back to you. So yeah, that's probably my favourite childhood memory. My dad, he's a hard worker, so is Mum, but Dad always worked 13-hour shifts. And I was always jealous of the fact that we were leaving him behind because he stayed with my uncle and auntie and their kids. And Mum was constantly getting letters in those days from my uncle saying that about Dad spoiling his kids with toys and things like that. So for me to get that doll, I was jealous, but once he came and he gave me that doll, everything just was right. So how I first came to the Salvation Army, my younger siblings went to Bruce McLaren, and at the time Sikoni was involved with the Lupines with school holiday activities, and they were friends with obviously kids who already attended the Sunday school bus, and so they got invited and they started going to the holiday programs. And and then on Sundays, obviously they started going to church. At the time we were going to the Samoan church on West Coast Road. And I was basically just going for the sake of it because Mum and Dad were like, get ready, get in the car, we're going to church. But then they started going into Salvation Army, and I just stayed behind because I wasn't in a very good space then. And then I think after a month of them going, Mum, got a tough exterior back on and said, you're going to church. So I went to church, and that's how I started going to Salvation Army. But it was Christmas Day. I became good friends with Denise and David Daly, and Brooke became really good friends with Yetta, same age. And then on Christmas Day, Jenny walked in with a guy and a girl, and at the time I didn't know, but it was Leanne and Mark, and I thought they were a couple. I actually thought they were a couple, and they came and I thought, oh, he's nice, but then I thought, but he's also taken. So they came and they sat in the service, and service went on and everything, and afterwards I got introduced as to Mark and Leanne by Jenny and David and Denise, and then I found out, oh, they're sister and brother, not a couple. So I got invited to the Dailies for lunch one day. So at this time I was still friends with Denise. I already knew that Mark and Leanne were brother and sister, not a couple. So of course I'm like, oh, he is nice. And we went over, and Denise made a comment like, oh, I know a guy who's quite keen on you, or who likes you. And I just took one bite of the pizza. We had small mini pizzas for lunch. I'd only taken a bite, and she made this comment. I was like, who? And she grinned away and she said, Mark. And I just was not hungry anymore. I was like, oh my gosh, he likes me. So I have been going to church since birth. I've known about God since birth, being drummed into us as kids. But the understanding of exactly who he is and wasn't really, there was no comprehension whatsoever for me. I knew who he was, but that deeper knowledge and understanding of exactly who he is didn't really, it wasn't really with me until I started going to the Salvation Army. And there was no moment, there was like moment that really stands out that it was just being asked the question, like just going to Salvation Army, listening to sermons, attending kids, M&M. I think also the relationship with Mark and seeing his family, and they instilled in me their beliefs and what they understood of what God is and of who he is. Kind of brought me to want to know him a little bit more on a personal level. Yeah, like Samoans are very passionate about God. Like I see that now, whereas before it's like it was just a Sunday chore kind of thing. What I have now is that God is my all, that without him nothing is possible. Whereas before I knew God is God, but I also thought you don't need him to be able to do everything. Like the God that I only worship on Sunday, when I go to church, and in the evenings when we have family prayers, but then during the day, and he wasn't there, he wasn't present in my life. But then now, I now fully understand and believe that wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, that he is there, and I'm very aware of him being with me every step of the way. It's not just Sundays anymore. For me, first and foremost would be the people that I work for and work with. They're not all Christians, but we all have that respect for each other. We respect each other's beliefs, culture. We're open about everything. It's just all glory to God, really. Yeah. I'm enabled to do anything I put my mind to, as long as it's a good thing, of course. Whereas before, I would only call on God when I was in the crap, like needed, like in trouble, and then you call on him and Sundays. But whereas now, living my life, like he's the centre, of my life right now, and I would like to also say that he's the centre of our family. It's all up to him. It's all God. It's my life, my walk, my journey with him that has brought me here. So yeah.